Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes in life, you're going to have experiences that you did not want, did not ask for, or did not invite into your life. But the good news is that they are experiences that can literally change your life. And I want to tell you about one of those experiences that happened to me. And if you've ever become a parent, you know that the first time you become that parent, that the joy and the excitement is so high, but so is the uncertainty and fear because you can never properly prepare for a moment like that. And I want to ask you here today a question. Have you ever gotten so angry while reading a simple book that you ripped out the pages, spit in that book, threw in the garbage and cursed out the author? Well, I have, and I'm not proud of it. But I want to take you on a journey and explain to you how I got to that point. You know, when my first son was born, my son Adrian, I was so excited. The room was filled with balloons. People were excited, hugging and kissing. The emotions were running so high. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. But then it all changed when the doctors walked in and they said, "Keith, your son is okay, but we found a major heart defect. He has to have open heart surgery to save his life." How would you feel if you were told your child had to have open heart surgery? You know, the one where they saw open the chest, crack open the breastplate, pull out a beating heart, and operate on it? Would you become frustrated? Would you become angry? Would you feel sorry for yourself? I cannot believe what I was hearing. I was stunned. I was shocked. I was angry. I was angry at those doctors. I was angry at God. I was angry at the world. Anyone that I could displace my anger on and feel sorry for myself, that's what I did. And yet, at that time, I was given some reading material on overcoming challenges and obstacles in life. And I happened to be reading this book by Nick Vujicic, who goes all around the world speaking to people how to overcome challenges and have a better mindset of faith. And that's whose book I was reading at that time, and who took the brunt of all my frustration and anger when I ripped out the page on mindset, spit in the book, cursed out poor Nick, the author, threw his book in the garbage, and just sat wallowing in my pity and frustration. But as fate would have it, the cover of that book has Nick on it, and the cover of that book was staring at me from the garbage. And I'm looking at Nick, and he was born with no arms and no legs. A challenge that none of us here can relate to, especially me. And I thought, wow, if he can overcome this, who am I to wallow in my self-pity and frustration over this moment? At that moment, I realized it was a gift to change my attitude. It was a gift to change my thinking and my mindset. Maybe it's even a gift from God. But first, I had to realize that I had to shift my mindset. And I started to study and realize that a mindset, what is a mindset? A mindset is the way you think and the way you do things. And the way you think or the way you do things can be taught or learned. So yes, we can all change our mindset. So I went on this journey. And I realized that whatever you focus on longest becomes strongest. If you focus on negative, you'll have more negative things rumbling through your brain and in your life. But if you focus on positive things, like being grateful for the fact that the doctor said they can fix my son. They have the modern tools to fix him. He'll be fine. I have to be grateful that I have a son, that I'm in this moment that he can be fixed. And that's when I had to shift my thinking. And I learned of this term called the reticular activation system, RAS. But let me give you the rest of the story. My son, the surgery went fine. He survived. He was doing fine. So much so, in fact, that we grew our family. We now had 3 kids. But now I faced a new danger, a new fear. I had to get a minivan. No, nobody drives a minivan. That's not cool. I don't want to become a minivan dad. But I had to go down this journey as well and face it head on. So I started test driving minivans, and I'm thinking, feeling sorry for myself again. And I started to notice minivans everywhere. They're at the gym. They're at restaurants. They're on the freeway. I'm like, wow, everyone drives a minivan. They're not so bad. It wasn't that there was more minivans on the road. It's just my mind was open to it. And I started to notice them more. I triggered the reticular activation system in my mind. And I noticed that if I got more grateful and focused on things to be more grateful in my life, my attitude and mindset changed. And my life changed. So I'm encouraging you today to change your life, to decide to be more grateful and watch how your life changes, how it expands because of it. And my son, he's doing just fine.